third of 3 of these online sessions that we're going to do. Our agenda for tonight. We're going to start off with a slide deck, which is best practices for 15 minutes. This is stuff that we've learned and also stuff that we've gathered. After that, we're going to have special guest comments by our immediate past District Director, Bob Horner, DTM, who's going to talk about ways that he has used online meetings in his professional life. And then we're going to have about 10 minutes worth of Q&A. When we talk about online meetings, the first thing we need to say is the platform doesn't matter. TI likes Zoom. Microsoft likes Teams. Skype is used by people that still have an AOL address. Slack is tech-based, and freeconferencecall.com has some small issues related to it. Now, when we put these slides together, the purpose behind it is not for us to say, you need to use this. It is, however, to tell you that there are lots of choices. And if you look at the world and the ecosystem of the World Wide Web, there's all kinds of more than just these. We just put these up as examples. But for example, if you're in a Mac shop, Teams is Microsoft based. If you are running a community-based thing that may have community outreach, tech-based may not be the right for you. So what you choose is what you need. Now, we do use Zooms here. It's a choice. It's paid for. Would help you with it. Again, the choice is yours. One of the items we talked about in here has to do with leak. This is kind of a mantra for when we do online meetings. Are we worried about things? So if you look across the spectrum right now, are we dealing with light? What about the environment? Attire, portrait. You know, my Dell Latitude for work has the camera right beside the keyboard. So I get nose shots all day long. Conversely, if you look at Bob, Bob is well lit. Bob has set up his environment the way it should be. And if you notice, there's no dishes, there's no clothes, etc. Let's take a look at Lisa. Lisa actually dressed up for the meeting. She didn't come in her pajamas. She didn't have on that ratty t-shirt that's so comfy. These things matter. I've told my boss at work, we're working from home right now. When I get up in the morning, when I take a shower, I put on a corporate polo because I am wearing my uniform to come to work. Psychologically, this matters. This makes you part of this thing. When I put together the 7 rules, and in fairness, we're going to have a bunch of links coming up soon. When I put together these 7 links, it should look a lot like a normal meeting. The difference between an online meeting and an in-person meeting is technology. That's it. Nothing fancy. So if you run your meetings the same way that you would do an in-person meeting, have an agenda. You show to the people that you care about what's going on. Do a roll call. We did this to begin with. Talk to the people. We actually had that social commentary, but it also puts them into the meeting and makes them part of the meeting. Actively facilitate. It is really simple in an online meeting to just do this. Oh yeah, I'm still here. Yep, okay, it's all good. Yep. I'm not part of the meeting anymore. We found out with Leadership Laboratory that if we actually all leave our cameras on and we actually are engaged in the speaker, the speaker gets more out of it. We're actively facilitating the conversation. Creating spaces. This could be a chat box. This could be whatever you need to do, but you need to make sure to create that collaboration that we're talking about. At the same time, it's easy in an online meeting to say, everybody agree? Okay, good, that's passed. No, we need to actually make space for people to disagree. Are we setting ourselves up for success or failure? So we're going to set next steps. Okay, hey, Bob, you're speaking next time. You got a topic for that? Lisa, you're going to be our grammarian. Really proud of you. We've set ourselves up to have the meeting the next time. Ending on time. If you notice throughout the sessions we've done this week, we keep them to around 30 minutes. We do this because it's an actual meeting. We're taking time out of your lives and we want to give value. As we can, make sure we're facilitating mixing in-person meetings and online meetings. These are a great fallback. It's certainly helpful, but at the same time, human moments of interaction are very, very useful. Humans are social animals. We actually want to interact and talk to other people. This is an eye chart. This actually came from another district, and this talks about a meeting itself and all the different roles. Now, before everybody starts screenshotting and doing all kinds of stuff, all of these links are available to you anytime. Closing in here, I've added a number of resources. I've had a number of people this week that said, I don't know how to use Zoom. What do I do? If you look down here, there's tutorials on how to use Zoom. Again, we put stuff on here for Google, Slack. This actually has some best practices, how to run a meeting. There's an app for a timer. How do we do this? You know, some people use cards. Some people say, oh, it's about time for this, etc. How you do it? And there you go. Look at Lisa. Lisa just actually gave me the green light for my presentation here. So she is actually using her virtual backdrop as a means to be a timer. Thank you for that, Lisa. We actually set stuff in here for YouTube, etc. What kind of questions does the audience have?
Never remember you're muted, so you'll need to unmute yourself if you have questions.
Or wave your hand or do stuff. Oh, and hey, we learned something new this week. If everybody does, what is it, this? That's actually International Sign Language for clapping.
I have a question.
Yes, and Elliot.
Yes. I'd like to hear what other people's experience with Slack has been. It's been recommended to me, and I'm not at all familiar with it.
All right. So I've used Slack. My challenge with Slack is it's really tech-based. It says and does things with an automatic assumption that you know how to do it. Bob, have you used Slack?
We do not use Slack. I have tried it, and actually tried it with the deck one year, and the non-techies just never got it. So it was never well adopted. So it's very good for a technical audience. I agree with Trent. You get beyond that, it might not get traction.
Got it. That's enough.
I use it every day for work all day long. It's a very powerful tool for not just having chats, but multiple different channels, sharing documents. There's so many different integrations of different applications that you can put into Slack now. That's just pretty, it's awesome. So it depends on what you want to do, on whether I could say it would be something worth exploring.
Now, in fairness, Lisa, you are a self-prescribed tech nerd.
Mhm. But I teach people that are not tech nerds for a living, so.
All right, we got a red light, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this now. We're going to have another
Well-
Q&A session at the end.
Trent, before you do that, we have a question in the chat box
All
from
right.
Jessica for Lisa. Virtual
Sure.
green background, what a way to record time. How cool is that? How did you make it happen?
So what I did, if you've explored virtual backgrounds at all in Zoom yet, you know you can change your background to upload any image or use one of the images that are in there. And for anybody that's not done that, there's the next to the video button and the toolbar on the bottom is the up arrow. And then the last option is choose virtual background. So what I did to make the red, green, and yellow happen is I just went to Paint or 3D Paint, Microsoft Paint, you know, where you could just make a big giant square and color it in. So I made a big green one, and I made a big yellow one, and I made a big red one, and then I loaded them individually as virtual backgrounds. And so while I'm on my screen, I have that window up. I'm watching the time, and so when it's time for green, I just click the green one. When it's time for yellow, click the yellow one, and then of course I went back to the flags when I was all done. But it's pretty cool. And that way you don't have to worry because like we had an issue. We were on a meeting, I think Sunday night or something, and I was using my phone, the timing app on the phone. But when you use a virtual background, you can't see the phone. It distorts everything. So we learned a lesson on that. So then I thought, oh, I saw other people doing the virtual background with just the colors, and it seems to work out pretty cool.
Thank you,
Okay,
Lisa.
thank you.
So, all right. Thank you for sharing for Muhammad. All right. Any other questions from the base presentation, or can we release this time back to Bob, who's going to give us kind of trips and ticks and all that kind of stuff?
Back to Bob.
All right, we ready?
Absolutely,
ready.
sir.
So video conferencing has slowly becoming a kind of a business standard. A lot of people are doing it. A lot of Toastmasters clubs have started doing it slowly. And then of course with this COVID-19 thing, now everybody's starting to do it. Not only Toastmasters club, but you're doing it at work. Everybody's doing it. And even though new technologies made it easier to connect with clients, we need to make sure not to drop our guard. When we're visiting clients, when we're giving a speech, you know, when we're meeting people, we're always going to, when we're meeting them in person, you're going to put a little extra effort. You're going to put on some nice clothes. You're going to, you know, brush your hair. Most important thing to keep in mind with video conferencing, you're really doing an in-person meeting with somebody. Don't drop your guard. You know, no one's expecting CNN quality. You're not going to look for professional, you know, video or audio quality. However, we do need to go out of our way to minimize any distractions. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about, just some tips that I've run across doing video conferencing, not only with Toastmasters, but with my professional life. First is wear professional clothing. You know, if you're going to Toastmasters meeting, if you're doing a work meeting, it's best to, you know, at least look nice. You know, don't be there in your dirty t-shirt that you got a little spaghetti sauce on it from lunch, all right? Put on a nice shirt, just like you're meeting somebody in person. And a good tip is to dress all the way to the bottom. A lot of people are tempted to put on just a nice shirt and then not worry about the bottoms. But if something happens and you have to get up and move away, you don't want people to be surprised about what you're wearing on the bottom, okay? So as Trent was saying, the clothes really make the attitude. So you dress up, top to bottom, make sure you look nice. Think about what's behind you. I make sure to clean up my, you know, put nice stuff on my wall, have my shelves neat. I don't have dirty dishes. I don't have, you know, junk laying around, because you're giving your appearance of what you want people to know about you. You don't want anything to be a distraction. Let's talk about audio. Obviously, just like a video conference, or I'm sorry, an audio-only conference, if you're not talking, please mute your microphone. If you, even though if you're a quiet environment, you never know when something's going to happen. A kid's going to run the room, a dog's going to bark. You're going to turn and yell to your wife that, you know, dinner's late or something like that. You're going to forget about the conference. So just mute your microphone. And of course, remember to mute your microphone before speaking. That's a skill that everybody has to learn. If I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute," you know, I'd be a rich man. Another thing is, think about the microphone that you're using. Get a good microphone, especially if you're presenting. What I have is I have a nice headset. So what I'm using right now is just the speaker that's on my, the microphone that's on my camera, which I think sounds fine. People can hear me. But if I really wanted to be understood, I'd put on my headset and let me switch to use the microphone on the headset. So I think now it sounds better. I think people can agree. So if you're really give an important speech, you're talking to your boss, whatever, you want to be understood clearly, get a good headset. All right. Now, if I was giving a speech and I wanted to put body language in there, I might not use this because it's got the wire attached to it and it's going to limit my movement. So in that case, you know, a lot of laptops have a Bluetooth capability, so you can use a Bluetooth headset with a microphone on it, or if you're connecting to Zoom via your phone, of course, that always has Bluetooth on it. So just think about that. It's not important for every meeting to have a headset on, but especially if you're presenting, it really helps. Let's talk about video, where you position your camera. A lot of cameras are on laptops and people have it below them, so that makes your camera kind of low and you're kind of looking up people's nose. It's not flattering. Try to avoid it. You also don't want it too high, or you don't want it off to the side, because then it looks weird that you're not looking at your audience. It can be distracting, and worse, it can be unflattering to you. So try to put the camera at eye level and make sure you're well lit. So when I'm doing video conferencing, I have a special light that I actually got just for doing the video conferencing that puts a little light in front of me, a little off to the side to give a little depth. So again, it's not required, but it really adds to the quality of your presentation. Be very careful if you have a window behind you or some bright light behind you. What the camera will do is automatically adjust to that bright light and you'll just be a shadow, you'll be a silhouette. So again, you want most of that light coming in front of you and just a little bit of natural light in the background. When you're talking, try to look into the camera. Don't try to look, at your picture on the screen or other people's picture on the screen. If you can look at the camera, that's the same thing as making eye contact. Now in a club, you have to make eye contact with one person at a time. But if you make eye contact with a camera, you're making eye contact with everybody at the same time. So that's another thing. As Trent mentioned, one thing we discovered, we started doing video conferencing about a month or two ago at Leadership Laboratory. And real early on, we discovered it's nice to leave your video on. It's so tempting to turn your video off and mute your microphone, and then you can relax and slouch and do whatever. But it really helps the speaker see your reaction, see that you're paying attention. Let's talk about etiquette. Close your door. If you have somewhere, you have a door, you want to go ahead and close it. Again, even if there's not any noise going on around you, you never know when something's going to happen, all right? Put on headphones. If you're in a loud environment, you can put on headphones so you can hear just that sound. You're not going to be blasting the sound to everybody else. Just like at a club meeting, you're going to want to silence your notifications. So, turn off your cell phone, any dings or bells that your email makes, you want to turn that off. Again, minimize distractions to the audience, but you also want to minimize distractions to you. Stay off Facebook, don't be, reading emails. If you're in a meeting, be in a meeting. If you're in a meeting with your boss, you're not going to be sitting there and browsing Facebook at work in person, I hope. In fact, if you do it too much, you probably won't be your boss too much longer, all right?
A good couple ways to do that is just go full screen. Make your Zoom full screen. And that way you don't have any Facebook, you don't have an email in front of you, you've turned off notifications, concentrate on the meeting that's in front of you. If you find it very difficult to minimize distractions and you can't do it by yourself, you can actually set up software to automatically block these websites. If you're going on a call, you can say, all right, block Facebook, block Gmail, block Yahoo, whatever it is that is tempting you away from focusing on the meeting, you can have it blocked, and then that'll teach you to stay focused. So again, I'll go ahead and wrap up, but the thing to keep in mind is even though you're on a video conference and you're sitting in your living room, you're having a face-to-face meeting with people. You want to treat it like that. So put in the extra effort, don't get slack, enjoy yourself. A video conferencing is very powerful, but we need to make sure we present ourselves the best way possible. Trent.
Thank you, Bob. All right, so we've got about 8 minutes left and wanted to open up the floor for Q&A, any questions you have. Remember, as Lisa would say, you have to unmute yourself before you can be heard. There have to be questions.
Well, I'll offer a tip. So for anybody that wants those colors and you colored backgrounds and you don't want to do it yourself, I just quickly uploaded them to that shared drive. So there's so now all you have to do is download them and add them to your Zoom account.
And Lisa, can you upload the flags too, please, while you're at it?
Sure, I could do that, sure.
While Bob was giving his presentation, he was talking about lighting. I don't know if you noticed, but I turned my light off and it made a difference. I was back in the cave again. And when he talked about the window in the background, I moved so that you could see the bright light window in the background. If I put it right around me, I get that halo look. So those are examples of what Bob was talking about in his presentation.
Very good point, Alan.
I'd like to know how you do an area visit for a area club director.
Sure.
Remotely.
Remember that the purpose behind the area visit is to get with the club. This can be in person, this can be a phone call, this can be a Zoom. It is not have to be in person. It is to try to make sure you're connected with the club officers and found out how they're doing their sessions. If they've already set up Zoom calls, attend one. Lisa?
Absolutely. And if you can't and they're not hosting any meetings via Zoom, what I would recommend at that point, because obviously we know we're under extenuating circumstances, is see if you can't do a phone call with the club officers. And if you can't get all the club officers, at least try and get the club president and the vice president education, because those are going to be obviously the two key personnel that are going to be able to answer most of the questions that you'll have and be able to provide the information that you're looking for. So don't feel like, because we know we're not doing anything in person, but hopefully they'll do a Zoom, and maybe you want to do a Zoom session with them and they don't have that ability. You could reach out to one of us if you have a date and time in mind, and we could set that up for you. And then you could just jump in a Zoom meeting with them at your scheduled time.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
And to follow up on that, you can also get with myself, Lisa, or Alan, and we can actually look on the calendar to see what they have scheduled. I actually do know that at least one of your clubs in your area actually just set up a Zoom meeting to set an ongoing recurring Zoom meeting. So that would be another way to reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Alan?
Yeah, what I was going to say is that you can also do old school. You can contact the officers and tell them, I'm doing the visit report. I want to give you an opportunity to have some input. If you're not sure if they are using the Toastmasters brand for their agenda, you can just have them send you a copy of the agenda. If there's some information about education awards that you want to beef the report up a little bit, you can find out names of individuals who are going for what education awards and put those into those slots. There are lots of things that you can do either on a video call or directly talking on the phone and have them send it to you, just as you can send them something. And it doesn't hurt to show the officer the report before you send it in and say, this is what I have so far. Do you have any comments? Is there anything that you'd like to add? And see what kind of feedback you get.
Very good point. Ann, does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Absolutely. We've got about 4 minutes left. Other questions?
We've got one, Trent, in the chat. Deborah is looking for info for the shared drive, and everybody's in luck. I actually just, in addition to it already being on the COVID-19 page of the District 58 website, if you go to the District 58 website now and hover over resources, the first option there is online meetings, and it's this entire folder of goodies.
And Deborah, you are muted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I would also tell everybody on the call that the quantity and quality of information in that folder has been exponentially increased every single day. So as Lisa, myself, Alan, Bob, Subi, Lori have done stuff throughout the week, we've actually continued to add to the content.
Mhm.
Other questions?
I have a question about how clubs are handling guests. Hearing the feedback we got at the deck meeting, our club decided that we wanted to have all of our guests go to our website and submit a contact form, so at least we have the background information on it. And then we'd have our VPM or any club officer screen them, for lack of words, to get to know who they are, make sure that they're not a bot or something else before. And once we have that conversation with them, we give them the link to come to our club Zoom meeting. What are other people doing to kind of greet guests, vet guests, or make sure that, you know, everyone's feel welcome and that there's no issues happening?
Mohammed, that's a great question. I'm going to actually open this to the floor, and I'm actually going to unmute everybody. So enter the chaos. Shakina,
Yes.
did you have a thing for Mohammed? All right. Stacy, you also flashed a puzzle?
No. Sorry. But that is a great question. We had somebody that before all this happened wanted to join us, and I had asked them just to wait until we at least had one virtual meeting. So we had our second one today, and I told her that she could join us next week, but I like Mohammed's idea. So I will personally call her and get to know her a little bit before the next meeting. So Mohammed, great suggestion.
Okay.
And I would recommend anybody on the call just follow up on the Mohammed offline and give him some more suggestions, as it were. Got about a minute left. Any other comments?
This is Deborah. We have a corporate club, and I was thinking about reaching out to past members, former members, and letting them know that we are meeting online because Blue Cross is trying to send everyone home. And that might be a nice opportunity for people to be able to still connect with people. So we're going to be reaching out to people who former members at work.
Very good point. Again, this time period is all about communication, communication, communication. So, Lisa, we are at about 30 minutes. Closing comments.
Hopefully everybody has found this third session helpful. Thank you to all of you that have joined. Our mission, of course, is to do our best to support all of you and in turn your clubs as well. So as we share information and continue to share leading information, up-to-date information, please feel free to reach out to any of us at any time, but do keep an eye out on email and the district website. And I've heard sometimes email ends up, if you have a Google account, in your promotions or spam folder. So just please keep an eye out because we're doing our best to keep everybody up to date, as is Toastmasters.org. for latest and greatest information there. But I wish everyone all the best, and please stay well and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan, any closing comments?
I just want everybody to stay safe also. Have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget, there are resources out there at the District 58 website. Please take advantage of it, and take advantage of it often. Pretend you're in Chicago and you're voting. Vote early, vote often. Take advantage of the resources page and do it often.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope y'all have a pleasant evening. And again, please reach out to myself, Lisa, or Alan with any questions or concerns, and we will be happy to help you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Bye.